Welcome to Creepy Joe's Horror Show! With special guest, Slip Rick the Skeleton.
It's not my fault the babes like me, man.
Also, Flo. And don't forget about your legendary loser host himself, Creepy Joe.
Welcome to Creepy Joe's Horror Show. Tonight we have Doom Asylum from 1987.
Doom Asylum from 1987 is about an undead lawyer who resides inside of an abandoned asylum and slaughters anyone who comes in.
Doom Asylum from 1987. There's so much that I could go on about this movie because it's definitely one of my favorites on Tubi.
I'm a Republican. I voted for Reagan.
I mean, it's like one of my favorite horror comedies in general. Yes, this is a horror comedy. And like I've said in the past, many movies become horror comedy on accident because they just sucked so bad as horror movies that they were comedic. But this was actually trying, this was categorized as a comedy horror. So it's funny on purpose, and it sucks, which makes it even funnier because it's just really cheesy. But it doesn't suck as far as entertainment.
Screw you, spikehead! Hey, why don't you consider a job as a porcupine?
So I don't even know where to start with this because I could go on and on about it. But I guess we'll start with the director, Richard Friedman. I'm not really sure what else he's involved in. Not much. But he made this badass movie. So if I find any other movies that he directed or was involved in, I'll throw them up here, but I would like to see some more of his movies actually. But starring Patty Mullen as Judy, and Kristen Davis as Jane or Kiki, which we're going to get into all these people. And then Michael Rogan is Mitch, who is like the main. He's the killer. I mean, there's not much more to say about him, but he's very interesting. So we have Kenny Price as Dennis, Dawn Alvin as Godiva. Godiva.
Hey, assholes! Can't you read? Do not enter!
Anyway, like there's not even pictures for half these people. I'm gonna really have to. I really like this movie, so I'm gonna go into a little bit. I'm gonna put forth some effort into finding and matching names with pictures because it's worth it for this movie because all these people are excellent in their own terrible way, if that makes sense. Then we have Harrison White as Darnell, who I really like Darnell in the movie. And then Farron. Now they don't even have a last name for her because this is how unknown she is. But you'd think because she was in a movie they'd have her last name. I'm sure I could dig it up somewhere. But Farron as Rapunzel. So the movie starts out, I guess. I'll try to keep this brief. I don't want to make a half-hour video on this, but I could go on for hours about this movie because it's so badass. But I'm going to try to keep it very minimal here. And it starts out with, Michael Rogan, Mitch, who he's a lawyer. Okay, so there's a lot of confusing things about this movie. He's a lawyer, and they're riding in this convertible he's with another female, and I don't even know her name.
You're a genius.
Well, how can we lose? We've been open and shut case.
They're driving and they're celebrating all this money that they won in a case, and they're running away, and they're going to put their daughter or her daughter. It's not there. They're having an affair, and they won all the money from the husband or whatever. So they're celebrating. They're drinking and driving, and they're kissing while they're driving. And they're planning on putting her daughter into a boarding school so that they can just run away and, you know, basically have sex all day, I guess.
We'll ship that brat of mine off to boarding school.
And they end up wrecking, and it's the most drawn out, long wreck. Like, he's like, and I mean, it goes on for like, it's like a 40-second, like, all right, is it gonna like wreck? All right, so horror comedy horror. They wreck, and there's literally like nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with him. She's dead, and he's like holding her in his arms, and he doesn't even have anything wrong with his face. He has some blood like dripping down the side of his face, and that's the extent of it.
Judy, Judy.
And then the next scene, he's in the hospital, dead, or like in an exam room, dead, like where they're about to cut him open and everything.
I am now removing epidermis from frontal to...
And he wakes up, like while they're poking on him with this knife, he wakes up and kills two of the doctors, or I don't know if they're doctors, a medical examiner, I don't know.
Sorry, Mr. Hanson, Judy didn't make it.
So, that's that. And then all of a sudden, oh, and I have to add in there that there's a really cheesy rendition of House of the Rising Sun. It keeps playing. I mean, it's probably the only song that, you know, they got rights to in this movie, and it's a cover of House of the Rising Sun, because there's no way that they would have the original. That would cost a bit of money. So this rendition of House of the Rising Sun keeps playing, and then there's another convertible 10 years later. Going down the same road that the movie opened up in, same song, same everything. Only there's a group of kids in the car, and they're driving towards the Doom Asylum. Now here's another confusing thing. I don't know if the asylum is where he died, or where he woke up and killed those guys, or if it's like abandoned now. I don't know if that's where his body was, or if it's just coincidental that there was an asylum right there where they wrecked, whatever. But they go to these kids go to the crash scene, and one of them, Kiki, is the woman's daughter who died. So she finds her mirror on the ground, and these group of kids are, you know, really goofy and very different. One's very serious and confused, and I believe that's Mike, who's Kiki's boyfriend.
Mike, can't you ever make up your mind?
Yeah, sometimes.
And he can't make up his mind about anything. Like, he'll be like, should we get out? Well, maybe we shouldn't. Okay, well, I think it would be okay, but maybe it won't. And he just walks around basically confused the entire movie, and not knowing where he's at, what he's doing, who he's talking to. He's just a complete blank. And then you have Kiki, who's completely dramatic and weird, and she's there looking for her, you know, talking about her mom, and she decides to start calling him mom because he says, I can be there for you. So now her boyfriend Mike, she calls him mom, and she calls him mom the entire movie.
Can I call you Mom?
Sure. While he walks around confused, not knowing where he's at or what he's doing. So the other three are in the car, like screaming, or the other four are in the car screaming and yelling at them, like to hurry up.
Let's go, assholes!
Come on, guys. She died 10 years.
Because they just want to, or yeah, there's three other ones, but they want to get out of there, and they want to go to the asylum. So they go to the asylum. It's abandoned now, and I have to say that the graffiti on this place is, I film abandoned places outside of this channel and do documentaries, so it's not that far off from the stupid shit that you see on the walls, you know, your typical pentagrams and your upside down crosses, and your, you know, everybody has to have a swastika on there. you know, your typical bullshit that's stupid, and the kids that are putting them on there don't even know what they're doing. And this kind of was realistic in that sense, only what the thing said. It would have like Led Zeppelin, but instead of Led, it would have Dead Zeppelin. And then right beside it, it would say like, "Shut up, you jerk," or something, like spray painted on the wall, and just the most ridiculous, dumb shit. But there's similar dumb shit in real abandoned places, so I mean, it's kind of believable. And the building's great. It is an actual asylum because there's a tunnel system underneath, and you know, these asylums all shut down in the 80s, you know, in America. So that's why there are a lot of abandoned ones. I film them all the time, and they all seem to have the same floor, the same theme in every single one, the same tunnel systems. So, for whatever reason, there's a band playing in this abandoned asylum. I don't know if I'd call it a band, but there's 3 girls in the band, and I'm guessing by looking at these names, Godiva, Rapunzel, and I don't know if the other girl's even in this cast of people because there's nothing on her. But there's 3 girls, and you know, this is them, and they're playing like just like noise. Like there's no music or rhythm or there, and I mean there are bands in real life like that, I guess, that you know just make noise, and some people are into it. But they're just like it's the most annoying, horrible shit. And I listen to like death metal, and I listen to black metal, and it almost had like a black metal type of, you know, sound echo, but like I don't know, it was bizarre. So anyway, Darnell rolls in there and he's like, "I'm gonna unplug on these people." He unplugs on them.
I'll take care of it. Hey!
And man, this is gonna take way too long if I go scene by scene. But the whole movie's so great. But anyway, so they end up like feuding with the other group of people, and they're down on the grass. The other, like the girls and guys that aren't in the band are down on the grass, like laying out and looking at baseball cards. And meanwhile, Darnell and the other girl, one of the girls from the group of rockers or whatever you want to call them, goths, whatever, they're like just staring at each other, falling in love.
He's kind of cute.
But at the same time, you realize that Mitch is watching them. Mitch is the lawyer who died at the beginning. Or he didn't die. He woke up and killed everybody. But here's where it's really confusing as well. They know the story of this man, of the crazy man that lives in the asylum and kills people. So they heard stories of him doing it before. And they call him the coroner or something.
A man who lurks around a deserted asylum and kills people with autopsy tools.
And he's not a coroner, he's a lawyer. So it's like, it's kind of confusing. It's not very well put together. Kind of like these videos. Like I go from thing to thing and go backwards. But yeah, it's kind of how I felt. I was like, so wait, was he a coroner or a lawyer? But I think it was just, they didn't care enough to even fix it. So they're all calling him coroner. And what I don't understand is like this band seems like play there. They have like water filtration.
Check. Good move.
And like they obviously hang out there all the time and like basically live there. And he never bothers them, but for some reason he's spying on the other group, and he starts killing them one by one now that they showed up, even the band members. There's one band member that stands out to me who's extremely eccentric, and after every single line that she says, she could say, "How do you like that?" And it goes on, like the crazy laugh goes on after every single sentence that she says, and it's extremely bizarre. But she ends up being like a badass in the end and like helping them out. But anyway, so this guy has like a mangled face now. It's like melted off. It looks kind of different in every scene. And he basically, Mitch, sits down in the basement or in a secret area of the hospital and just watches black and white horror movies.
Burton's mortgage, which you hold in your name, and bring it up to my house at once. It falls due.
Like all day. And like sometimes he'll be spying on him and then he like goes and takes a break for like part of the movie and watches more movies in this crawl space. And it's just really weird. Like, I don't know what he does all day. Like, he just hangs out there and watches horror movies on a TV in black and white. And it doesn't make much sense. But I guess that's just where he resides now. And he kills anybody that comes there. So, that's what goes on in the movie. He kills everybody basically in interesting ways. Everybody ends up dying except for Kiki at the end because she's the daughter of the woman he loved. And, you know, it gets kind of awkward at the end. He's chasing her, obviously. And,
Judy! Come here! No!
Yeah, that's it. And then she escapes and says like a one-liner at the end. I kind of forget what it is, but I'll throw it in here.
I've got to tell you, I have a real problem with that.
And that's it. I'm going to rate this a solid 4 out of 5. It's almost perfect to me. This is, as I said, one of my favorites on Tubi. I could watch this regularly because it's just so stupid and funny and bizarre. And it's exactly what I like to see in a movie. It's not cheesy to the point where they're not trying too hard. It was actually a pretty decently put together movie. But it's funny and, you know, it has some pretty awesome kills in it at the same time. But great kills, very over the top, you know, ridiculous kills, you know, and it's exactly what I like to see in a horror movie. And that's all I can really say about it. This movie is free on Tubi, obviously, to those of you who aren't following with this October nightly ritual that we have going on here. Every movie that I'm going to review this month, and you can go back and look at some of the other ones, they're all for free on Tubi. Download the app. As long as you have internet or Wi-Fi, you're good. You can watch any one of these. And most of them have been on here for a really long time, put it that way. Because they're probably free at this point. Like, you probably don't even have to pay much to have them on their network, and they're not going anywhere. You know, they're not newer movies. No one's watching these movies except for weirdos like me, and obviously you, if you're watching this. So yeah, check it out. And thanks for hanging out. I'm not going to get too much. I don't want to get any further into it because there's a lot of details I could add in about how great this movie is and how the things that I like about it and everything. But I don't really think it's necessary. It's a slasher movie that takes place in an abandoned asylum, and it's hilarious the whole way through. And I really appreciate it. So, you know, definitely check it out. Of all the movies that I review in this month, this is probably one of the top ones that I'd say you should watch because it won't be a waste of your time. And that's pretty much it. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys tomorrow night. As usual, stay creepy.